right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome, risers. Welcome to the Madhouse. The Madhouse? The Madness. Madhouse, Madness. You know what I'm talking about, maybe. Glad that you're here. Welcome to this Thursday, April 1st. March is out of here, and we are into April. Happy April Fool's Day. Great. I saw a few snowflakes here in the barn. Are you talking about those that are offended easily or the precipitation? It's just a question because, there's both. Welcome to the program. My name is Nick Stewart. This is Sunrise Santa Rosa. You know who you are. Telephone number to call is 850-771-0049. Thank you for being here. Thank you to Milton Post for hosting and everybody else that shares it. God bless you. Somebody's pooping on the carpet in the White House. It's a real thing. We'll talk about that. We've got Gates news and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. All right, your forecast for today. Did I get that? Yeah. I did have that up here, so that's good. I'm a step ahead of the game. Today, mix of clouds and sun, gusty winds, and a high of 62. Winds around 30 miles an hour. Could occasionally gust over 40 miles an hour. Great. Tonight, clear skies, low near 39, which means I would say the shelters will be open. I haven't got wind of that, but that's what usually happens. Tomorrow, mainly sunny sky and a high near 64. Presently, it is 49 in Milton. It's 54 Gulf Breeze, 51 to Bar, and 50 in Pensacola. Welcome. Glad you're here today. I hope that your April is going well. Hour or whatever you've done. All right. The number to call is 850-771-0049. And, of course, no pronouns. All right, kids, let's light this candle, shall we? All right. Number one, because it is Easter weekend. It's Resurrection Sunday weekend, and want you to be celebrating. And so, in Milton, there's going to be an Easter egg hunt, 50,000 eggs. That's some Easter egg hunt. Barbecue, bounce houses, much more going on, starting at the Imogene Theater at 10 a.m. with Refuge Church and the Scoops Ice Cream Shop's Easter egg hunt. That starts at 12 at Jernigan's Landing behind the Santa Rosa County Courthouse. So that ought to be a good time. Get out there, hunt some eggs, 50,000 eggs filled with candy, toys. You know it. You guessed it. And it's all free. It's free. Get out and enjoy it and have a good time. Here, Depends makes a good product. Someone informed Bumbling Joe. Yeah, it didn't say who. Well, it does say who it is. But it's someone in the Biden White House. They haven't identified the suspect. They have a clue. They've not identified the suspect of who's pooped on the carpet. They need to get to the bottom of this. It's a dirty job. Someone's got to do it. In the hours after the news broke that the U.S. Justice Department was investigating Rep. Matt Gaetz for having a sexual relationship with a 17-year-old girl and paying for her to travel with him, Gaetz appeared on the Fox News calling the allegations horrible and a lie. During the appearance on Tucker Carlson, Gaetz alleged that Pensacola attorney David McGee at the Beggs and Lane law firm tried to extort him and his family for $25 million to make the allegations go away. News journals have been able to reach McGee directly for comment, but Beggs and Lane issued a statement Wednesday afternoon refuting Gaetz' claim. The allegation by the congressman is both false and defamatory. Mr. McGee was the chief assistant United States attorney for the Northern District of Florida 25 years during his tenure with the Department of Justice, or 25 years ago. During his tenure, his reputation for integrity and ethical conduct was impeccable. It's remained impeccable throughout his 25-year tenure with our firm. While he was with the DOJ, he would never have entertained a scheme such as what Congressman Gaetz suggests, nor would he today. Unsubstantiated allegations do not change that fact. Now, this is more info on that story. Gaetz, during Tucker Carlson's news show Tuesday, accused former federal prosecutor David McGee of the Beggs and Lane law firm of extortion. Gates' father, former Florida Senate President Don Gaetz, who found fortune in hospice care, confirmed to Politico Matt Dixon that he had worn a wire for the FBI more than once and was supposed to meet Wednesday with Destin developer Stephen Alford, an alleged co-conspirator. Now, according to the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office, a joint investigation with the FBI resulted in Alford's 2015 arrest for state felony charges, including fraud, extortion, and grand theft. Alford, then 56, was charged for swindling approximately $350,000 from at least one investor by promising lucrative returns for money intended for real estate ventures. Alford also misrepresented real estate assets to the investor and instead used the money for personal use. He bought expensive jewelry, cars, renting the luxury condominium at Destin Yacht Club, among other purchases. Alford, at the time, been recently released from federal prison after serving a 10-year sentence for fraud in connection with the investment scheme to trade timberland to be used as Air Force bombing range for prime Gulf-front property on Okaloosa Island. So much of what Gates said on Tucker Carlson is true. We will see. I tend to believe Gates over this because you know what the Democrats do. They try to slam you. So be looking at what the Democrats are doing because they usually accuse other people of doing what they are themselves are doing. He said, she said, liar, liar, pants on fire. Good morning, Al Cuco. So Gates, we'll see what happens with this. But looks like Gates is on the right side of this thing. So the body found in Blackwater State Forest has been identified. It's the name is not yet being released due to next of kin notifications. And they are investigating it as a homicide. So there you go. They're leading major crimes detectives. They suspect it as a homicide. The remains were taken to the medical examiner's office for autopsy and identification. The exact cause of death is still under investigation. So we'll just be praying for that family, whoever they may be. Sinclair, who owns WEAR, has laid about a dozen employees off last week from its Pensacola station. April Baker, Steve Nissom, Catherine Daniel, all were given 2 weeks' notice. And it says, but they are no longer allowed on air effective immediately. Now, a lot of people get upset about that. But that is common practice in broadcast. So if you turn in your notice, if you get laid off, you're not allowed back on the air. So they're not going to hand you your pink slip before you go on the air and say, this is going to be your last broadcast, because things could go off the rail. Right? And they don't want to do that. So they're still getting paid. They're just not allowed on the air. I don't know if they could do like a little segment, a little clip saying, hey, things have changed. It's a new day. And I just want to tell you, thanks for watching. Appreciate your support through the years, blah, blah, blah. And record it and play it. I don't know if they can't do that, but they're not. So there you go. But they have laid off across Sinclair. It's not just WEAR. It's several of their locations. So I don't know. I don't watch a lot of WEAR. A jury on Wednesday found Michael Neely guilty of second-degree murder in the killing of Oklahoma Police Chief Lucky Miller. That's quite the name. At a Pensacola Beach hotel in November 19. The verdict was announced after a jury deliberated for about 2 hours. Miller, 44, was a police chief in Manford, Oklahoma, while Neely was a Manford police officer. The two men were in town for a law enforcement conference. It was an alcohol-fueled fight that made him get suffocated to death. Now, they said it said it internally decapitated him. Internally decapitated. And it's quite the picture. It's disturbing. Florida lawmakers are combing through bills aiming to overhaul the state's election system. Republicans argue stricter rules that they want implemented to ensure voter security, but civil rights advocates in Northwest Florida believe the changes will suppress the vote. By nearly everyone's account, including former President Donald Trump, the 2020 election in Florida was secure. Even so, Republican state lawmakers have proposed several bills they say will improve voter confidence. But some election supervisors, including Escambia County's David Stafford, are raising concerns. We think some of them are cumbersome. Some of them may actually infringe on privacy of voters, said Stafford. Like what? Well, most of the proposals seek to change parts of the state's vote by mail process, requiring drop boxes to be monitored 24/7 and limiting who's allowed to drop off a ballot on someone's behalf. The bill's most controversial provision is not allowing anyone to interact with or give something to voters unless they're 150 feet away from the door of a polling place. You can't give people water. They can't give people standing in line water. How cruel are you? That's not what it means. That's not what it says. They don't want them handing in bottles of water with "Vote for Joe." That's what those kind of things are. Influencing someone's vote. That's what the whole purpose of that is. So, yeah, don't let them say they can't give anybody water. That's not the truth. Tell them that is not the truth because they've been told a lie. We'll get a hold of Lester Holt from NBC here in just a few moments and talk about that. A Shalimar woman sentenced to 5 years of probation for tampering with evidence in the November 2017 fatal shooting of her husband. State's Attorney's Office announced Wednesday Barbara Wozniak, 68, entered a no contest plea to tampering with evidence. Wozniak was charged after the state's attorney's office says she hid her husband's duct tape body underneath the stairwell of their home. Wozniak said her husband was choking her and that she shot him in self-defense. She also says she was a battered woman, had suffered years of physical, emotional, and sexual abuse by her husband. Experts, one hired by Wozniak and another hired by the state, both concluded Wozniak showed characteristics of a battered woman. Witnesses are also able to support Wozniak's claim of abuse. They are not going to press murder charges, just tampering with evidence for duct taping and hiding the body. There you go. Listen, it's a thing. It is a thing. 850-771-0049. You can't always claim battered spouse syndrome. But when you do, duct tape the body, stick it underneath the stairwell. 850-771-0049. What, yeah. So this came up. This is just kind of a rumor mill. Yes, that was nice of them. You know, rather than going, we're going to get her. They just said, you know what? There's enough evidence. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Sorry. I got in touch with my inner Disney princess. This rumor came up that Sheriff David Morgan is going to run for mayor. Oh. How about that? David Morgan. Now, listen. Morgan doesn't cave to special interest groups. Morgan doesn't care. Where he stands, he stands. And that might be a nice change. I would love to see those press conferences. He pulls zero punches. And that might be kind of interesting. We'll see what happens with that, but that would be pretty interesting. Second graders in Greenwich, Connecticut were shown an animated video that displays the silhouette of a man with a graphic full erection standing over what's been described as a sad girl during a lesson on social and emotional learning. New York Post reported that the kids were shown a cartoon titled Alfred Jr. and Shadow, a short story about being scared during a virtual class that the Greenwich Free Press said was a lesson on social and emotional learning. The description of the video says all children are normal scared, but what do children who are embarrassed scared or painful scared need? We talked a little bit about this. So it's a short story about being scared. It's an educational film for children ages 6 to 14. The children learn about different ways of being scared, what they need to do when they're scared, and suggestions for actions. and adults get some tips on how to meet a child who is scared. So watch this. Yeah. Yep, exactly. 6 to 14. Now, I've got the clip. Here is the clip. If you have children, give me 30 seconds, right? You got to see this to believe it.
Very difficult to talk about. For instance, some children are afraid that their mom and dad will beat them, or that their parents will fight. Other children have experienced an adult touching or putting their penis in the child's private parts or mouth, and they're terrified that this will happen again.
Holy smokes. All right. So there you go. There you go. 6 to 14-year-olds. Now, some of these parents are livid. Absolutely. I would be too. What is going on in this? That's the school district. The school district. Oh, my gosh. What are they doing to your children? I know it is. You are not wrong. It is sick. No wonder people are pulling their kids out of school and doing homeschooling or something else. I don't know what else it is. But they're pulling their kids out of school for sure. Who wants their kids exposed to that? Moving forward, the Cleveland Indians are going to be outlawing the face painting. You can't face paint at a Cleveland Indians game. Are they still called the Cleveland Indians? Yeah, I guess so. The Major League Baseball club announced Tuesday a new ballpark policy ahead of the team's opener against the Detroit Tigers. Under the new guidelines, fans could be denied entrance or face ejection if they conduct themselves in a disorderly, unruly, or disruptive way, or should they choose to wear inappropriate dress, according to the policy. Inappropriate dress includes headdresses, face paint styled in a way that references or appropriates American Indian cultures and traditions. It's a baseball game. It's a baseball game. Inappropriate or offensive images, words, or dress or face paint must be covered or removed, and failure to do so may constitute grounds for ejection or refusal of admission. You can't wear face paint. You can't wear a headdress. No wonder people are done going to ball games. We're done. We're done. We're done. Oh, my goodness. It's out of control. Yeah, it is out of control. I would say before you ban headdresses, why don't you stop selling $10 hot dogs? How about that? In the shadow video in Spanish and being shown in those in Biden cages, how many hands would go up if asked about their forced journey to the border? I don't know. I don't know if I understand that. Maybe I do. Maybe I understand that, but I'm not sure. Idiots. Yes. Baseball games, I'm sure. Kids are going to school for psychology sessions. What happened to reading, writing, and arithmetic? Oh, that's racist. You can't do that. You've got to social justice these kids because they're out of control. They, again, pronouns. The Indians are going to lose fans. Yep. You want to go let loose. It's not racist. Stop being a snowflake like you have in Navarre. I know. Interesting. A batch of Johnson & Johnson's COVID-19 vaccine failed quality standards and can't be used. The drug maker didn't say how many doses were lost. It wasn't clear how the problem would impact future deliveries. A vaccine ingredient made by Emergent Biosolutions, one of about 10 companies that Johnson & Johnson is using to speed up manufacturing, did not meet quality standards. J&J said the Emergent Biosolutions factory involved had not yet been approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration to make part of the vaccine. Oh. So it's not good. Is it effective? We don't know. We don't know. Interesting. So check where you got the vaccine. It could not be good. Now they're saying 1 dose of the vaccine is effective against coronavirus, and 2 gives you maxi protection for those heavy virus days. Sorry. The white man can't participate without being labeled racist. That makes you racist for that statement. Floridians who oppose face mask mandates as a result of the coronavirus pandemic are attempting to organize a massive protest and mask burning event. You're invited to the Million Maskless March and mask burning Saturday, April 10th at 3 p.m. at the corner of A1A at the Las Olas in Fort Lauderdale. A protest organizer, Chris Nelson, posted online explaining that the April 10th marks 1 year of mask tyranny in Broward County and will mark that date with a celebration of freedom. Nelson says the protest has been approved by the authorities and encouraged people to bring signs that contain phrases with large letters that say, "Masks are slavery. No more masks, and masks off children." I have a question. That's what I do. I question things. In this, in the white, in this maskless march, because there's going to be 1 million people there. What if someone chooses to wear a mask to the maskless march? Are you going to shame them? Or do we want to be right? If you want to wear it, wear it. We're not wearing it. But that would be odd, right? To have someone wear a, but there's going to be someone wear a mask to the maskless march. There just is. There is. Decide now how you're going to handle that. President Biden expressed support for the idea that the MLB All-Star Game be moved out of Atlanta in response to the new Georgia election law that sparked fierce backlash among liberals. During an interview on ESPN, Biden was asked about comments made by Tony Clark, the executive director of the MLB Players Association, who said he looked forward to discussing moving the July 13th game out of Georgia's capital as a form of economic punishment to the GOP-backed election reform legislation that was signed into law by Governor Brian Kemp. Here is that interaction. Nope, that's not it. That's that. Well, man, here it is. Listen.
That's exactly what happened last week in Major League Baseball. Tony Clark is the executive director of the Major League Baseball Players Association. He said he would, quote, look forward to discussing moving the All-Star Game out of Atlanta because Georgia Governor Brian Kemp signed into law a bill passed by the Republican-led state legislature to overhaul how its state elections are run. So, Mr. President, what do you think about the possibility that baseball decides to move their All-Star Game out of Atlanta because of this political issue?
I think today's professional athletes are acting incredibly responsibly. I would
Really? Because they're toting your side? Again, sports is not the place for politics.
People look to them. They're leaders. Look at what's happened with the NBA as well. Look at what's happened across the board. The very people who are victimized the most are the people who are the leaders in these various sports. And it's just not right. This is Jim Crow on steroids.
Really? How are they victimized? The people in these various sports are the ones who are most victimized. Really? I don't understand that. That is a stupid statement.
In 40 other states. What it's all about. Imagine passing a law saying you cannot provide.
Enforcing election laws. How dare they? How dare they?
Someone standing in a line to vote? Can't do that? Come on. Or you're going to close a polling place at 5 o'clock when working people just get.
That's false. Again, we talked about that. That's false. That's a false narrative.
Working folks and ordinary folks that I grew up with from being able to vote.
Come on.
If they do decide to move the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, it won't be the first time in professional sports. They moved the 2017 NBA All-Star Game out of Charlotte for political reasons as well.
No. Yeah. This whole thing, and Biden is fanning the flames. He is calling, President Biden is calling for a boycott of Georgia. He wants an economic boycott of Georgia. The President of the United States. I support him. I do. Come on, man. Wow. Pretty interesting. 850-771-0049. Can I? Yeah, maybe. I say, all right. Go ahead, Corey. Throw that ball. But if how do you want to do it? Are you going to do it in the mom jeans and not get it to the plate like Obama? He throw it overhand. Yeah. Biden is reading a teleprompter. Yeah, I know. Yes, he knew the question beforehand. Come on, man. What do you think this is? Yeah. Biden appeared alongside California Governor Gavin Newsom in Delano, California, and spoke to farm workers on the birthday of Cesar Chavez, who was considered transformational leader and Latin American civil rights activist. And while he was there was the First Lady's pronunciation of "Yes, we can" in Spanish that drew criticism on Twitter. This is a short clip, but you got to hear this. She is saying "Yes, we can" in Spanish, kind of.
Sí, se puede. The future is ours. Thank you.
¿Se puede? Sí, se puede. It's puede. It's puede. Let me show you that again. Why do they try to do stuff they can't do?
Sí, se puede.
Say it with me.
The future is ours. Thank you.
So white. 850-771-0049. All right, so NBC News anchor Lester Holt received praise from liberal media figures after saying reporters don't need to hear both sides of a story before determining what is true. Yes, I said that right. You don't need to hear both sides. They don't need to give both sides of a story before they determine what is true. Here he is, Lester Holt.
In this period, I'm sure will fill plenty of books and be studied in classrooms, maybe even here. But I have a few early observations I'll share about where this moment brings us and what we can learn. Number one is, I think it's become clearer that fairness is overrated. Well, before you run off and tweet that headline, let me explain a bit. The idea that we should always give two sides equal weight and merit does not reflect the world we find ourselves in. That the sun sets in the west is a fact. Any contrary view does not.
So you don't need to discuss that. The sun sets in the west. Yes. I agree the sun sets in the west. No argument there. We continue.
I know recent events assure that you won't have to look far to find more current and relevant examples. I think you get my point. Decisions to not give unsupported arguments equal time are not a dereliction of journalistic responsibility or some kind of agenda. In fact, it's just the opposite. Providing an open platform for misinformation, for anyone to come say whatever they want, especially when issues of public health and safety are at stake, can be quite dangerous. Our duty is to be fair to the truth. Holding those in power accountable is at the core of our function.
He said duty. All right. I got a comment here before we go on. What about that? You don't have to give both sides of the story. Or we don't even have to unsubstantiated claims. We don't even need to discuss that. Really? Well, let me ask about the Russia collusion. What about that? What about Russia collusion? Yeah? I mean, the whole thing about the Russia gate, you were all over that all the time. What about the evidence, the actual evidence against Hunter Biden? You just ignored that completely. It's your truth.
We need to hear our leaders' views, their policies, and reasoning. It's really important.
Yeah.
But we have to stand ready to push back and call out falsehoods.
As long as they agree with what we say. Yeah, whatever, Lester Holt. You don't want, all you want is your truth. That's the problem. I harp on this all the time. There's not your truth and my truth. There is the truth. That's why when something happens, like a car wreck, they go talk to witnesses, this witness, that witness, that witness. Why? Because somewhere in there is the truth. They don't take one person's word for it. They get multiple, and then they find the truth. Where is the truth in the midst of all this? And the news, the media, comes at a story now with a predetermined truth. And they find those things that support their truth rather than seeking to find the truth. We don't have to argue that this is a fact. We've already determined that this is a fact. Really? Is it a fact that Georgia wants to keep people from getting water who are standing in line to vote? No, that's not a fact. That's not a fact. But you're putting it out as fact. What about that? They don't care about that because it's not their truth. I did a story yesterday about the decline of people going to church or being part of a church, having a faith background. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. Now, there is an absolute truth. But they're wiping it out in schools. You don't have to have truth in schools in what's being taught. You don't have to have truth in politics anymore. It's all about perception. What about truth? Well, it's not happening anywhere. It's not happening anywhere, Katie. I know. Really? Let's be honest. When's the last time we watched any of these talking heads? I don't watch national news. I can't tell you who the anchors are on any of the national news networks. I can't tell you who those anchors are. I don't care. I know that there's this one guy on one of the channels. Young guy, he cocks his eye and he talks like this. Idiots. Morons. But that's Lester Holt, and he's a dingbat. California law enforcement groups, District Attorney Association, and state sheriff's associations are allegedly all white supremacist organizations. Of course they are. That's according to a member of the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors. She said it in a live stream Facebook video on Wednesday. Holly Mitchell, Democrat and former state assembly member and senator, made the remarks during a forum on police brutality and racial justice as she was discussing the state's legislative progress, police reform legislation. About an hour and 15 minutes into the video, she made the statement. Now, it was a Stop LA Sheriff Attacks Family Forum posted by Black Lives Matter, Los Angeles. Now, how can a Stop LA Sheriff Attack Family Forum when Black Lives Matter tries to disassemble the family? But that's who posted it. That is who funded this little event. All right. Border Patrol on Wednesday released a shocking video of smugglers abandoning a 5-year-old girl and a 3-year-old girl at the border. I've got a video of that. Where is that? No. Let me see if I can find that video real quick because it's amazing. Pretty wild. Where is the video? Sorry. I thought I had it. Maybe we'll get to it. But it is crazy serious. I can't find it. Where did it go? All right. We'll have to look for it. But man, that's pretty powerful. They drop these kids. They drop them off of a 14-foot wall. A 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. They come across the border on their own. They take them, dangle them by the arms, and drop them. And in the video, which is kind of like a infrared kind of a thing, you see the 3-year-old being dropped, and then it lays there for a moment, stunned, before it finally gets up. Yeah. Nice people. Nice people. The lawmakers in the nation's capital proposing enacting a new tax on sugary drinks, hoping that forcing consumers to pay more for products they want will deter them from consuming sugary beverages. We're going to tax you into submission. Democrat Brianne Nadeau, a member of Washington, D.C. City Council, introduced a measure Tuesday that would enact an excise tax of 1.5 cents per ounce on beverages the city government considers sugary drinks. Legislation would repeal the existing 8% sales tax on sugary drinks, which is 2% higher than the existing sales tax in Washington. Enacting the sugary drink tax would begin rectifying longstanding health inequities. One thing COVID-19 has made abundantly clear is that we need to get serious about addressing health inequities in the district. So we're going to tax you into submission. We're going to tax sugary drinks. $1.5 per ounce. Oot. That could get up there. Yes, you do, because that statement tells me that you do, because you don't understand what health inequities there are. And because there are health inequities, your rights go away because we have health inequities. You've got rights. We're not taking your rights. We're just trying to balance things out. You get it. See, I want to play this. This is AOC. This is AOC on Rachel Maddow. And Rachel Maddow, he is hysterical. I'll just say that. But this is Rachel Maddow's show and AOC talking about President Biden's the $2 trillion stimulus and the coming up more stimulus. Watch this.
Of that body. New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Congresswoman, it's great to see you. Thank you so much for making time to be here tonight.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
So, as I know, you saw the president's speech today, and we've all been reading about and learning about what the president is asking for in this American Jobs Plan. What do you think of it?
You know, I think that the vision that President Biden and the administration has laid out, you're right, has surprised a lot of us in a positive way. And in the detail and the thought that's here, the scope of it is really encouraging, except I think the how, that 2.2 trillion, 2.25 over 8 years, I have serious concerns that it's not enough to realize the very inspiring.
2.2 trillion is not enough. It's not enough.
Advance.
So he's done he's got a very inspiring vision. So 2.2 trillion's not enough.
Here, and in order for us to realize this inspiring vision, we need to go way higher. And that's what's going to help us actually deliver on this really promising and inspiring vision that the president has laid out today.
Okay. So what is her idea of way higher than 2.2 or 2.5 trillion? $10 trillion. 10 trillion. She can't spell trillion, but she wants $10 trillion spent, which would effectively make the United States bankrupt. And we would all be in a socialist nation, way deep in a socialist nation, where we could not get out. They want to break you. They want to break you. And they're doing it. They're being successful at it. 850-771-0049. $10 trillion. Are you kidding me? I know. I thought of a new way to question terrorists. Play videos over and over. AOC. Make it stop. I'll tell you anything I want. You're right. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer believes he's found a way to use the Senate's rules to end run around the filibuster and pass major pieces of President Joe Biden's legislative agenda with a simple majority vote. Major pieces of Biden's agenda, like the $15 federal minimum wage, amnesty with citizenship for 11 million illegal aliens. It's more like 30. They've been saying 11 million for years. That's not true. That number is out. Or a new federal assault weapons ban are unlikely to muster enough Republican support in the 50-50 Senate to overcome the threat of legislative filibuster. Democrats need 60 votes to close the debate on a pending bill. As long as they are unwilling to compromise the radical progressive agenda, they won't find 10 Republicans willing to lend their support. But multiple reports indicate Senate Democrats think they found a way to bypass a potential filibuster and that they'll try to advance Biden's $2 trillion infrastructure proposal. They're going to use a budget reconciliation. And it's a legislative rule, it's a weird rule that a majority can use to pass bills with budget-related items with a simple majority vote. Under the current interpretation of the Senate rules, budget reconciliation can only be used once every fiscal year when Congress passes a budget resolution. Last year, Congress failed to pass a budget resolution, so Democrats used their fiscal 2021 budget resolution to pass the $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill. They can still use 2022 budget reconciliation this year to pass another piece of Biden's agenda. If it's infrastructure tax increases, a climate bill, or health care reform. They could probably all put it all into one. Democrats lack the votes to end the filibuster outright, so to pass more bills, they'll attempt to revise the current budget resolution and argue that the revision makes it possible to use budget reconciliation to pass another bill. This proves my point that the Democrats can't go by the rules, can't play by the rules in order to get something done. They have to cheat. That is a broad interpretation. They are not within the rules. They are breaking the rules. That's the only way they can win. 850-771-0049. Oh, my gosh. A provision of President Joe Biden's proposed $2.3 trillion infrastructure plan, the American Jobs Plan, would erode right-to-work laws in states that do not force workers to join a union. So that right to work will be gone, and you'll be forced to join a union if your job has that. And it would include the controversial card check system. As described by the White House, the plan will promote union organizing and collective bargaining, in part to the Protecting the Right to Organize Act. In the event workers vote not to join a union, the PRO Act allows the National Labor Relations Board to set aside the results of if an employer is found to have interfered in any way. The union will then immediately become certified if a majority of the employees in the bargaining unit have signed authorizations designing the labor organization as their collective bargaining representative. Those signed authorizations are called card check, in which union members can approach workers even at their homes and ask them to sign that they want to join the union. You want to sign this and join the union, right? You've got a nice home. Those are lovely children. I'd hate to see something happen to them. That's what used to happen before the right to work. And Biden wants to bring that back. Yep. Oh. CNN political commentator Van Jones said Wednesday on The Lead that the fact that George Floyd was on drugs is irrelevant to his cause of death. Anchor Jack Tapper said that the witness acknowledged that based on his interactions, the witness that worked at the store, based on his interactions with George Floyd, he believed that George Floyd was on drugs to a degree. Watch this.
That witness acknowledged that based on his interactions, the witness that worked at the store, based on his interactions with George Floyd, he believed that George Floyd was on drugs to a degree, but he was also able to have many conversations with him. This seems to be the prosecution trying to blunt the argument by the defense that drugs in George Floyd's system accounted for not only his behavior and the reason that the officers had to restrain him, but also his death.
Yeah, well, the reality is there are a lot of people in our country that use a lot of stuff. People are smoking, they're drinking, they're popping pills. I mean, we have an addicted society, and yet that's not a capital crime. Using a controlled substance in the United States is not a death sentence, and many people who are watching have used controlled substances even within the past week. That's not a capital crime. There's a standard in our country called excessive force. If you use more force than is necessary to effect an arrest, that's an excessive use of force. It is completely inconceivable. Listen, he was fighting back. Nobody argues with that. He was resisting. Nobody argues with that. But then once you have him on the ground and he's handcuffed, he's under control at that point. He can't do anything. And you do not have to then continue to strangle him. So yes, he was apparently was on something, but there was no reason for him to die that day.
He was going to die anyway. I don't want that to sound wrong. Let me rephrase that, because he was a dead man walking. Now, should there have been a police brutality? No. Was there police brutality? I don't know. Did the knee on his neck kill him? No. He was dying anyway. He was dying. He was dying. He had a dose of fentanyl in his system. He was dying. He was going to die. The knee on the neck did not kill him. That's like saying he died from COVID. He had COVID, and yeah, he had enough fentanyl to kill a horse. He was dead already. And the ME said, if I didn't know what happened, I would have said you found him in his house dead from drug overdose. So he was dead. He was dead walking. 850-771-0049. I don't want to get the wrong impression. I didn't mean he was going to die anyway, but he was dying. Oh, wow. A couple who have been taking in troubled teenagers for the past 7 years have been notified by organization that owns the home that they must vacate the property to make room for unaccompanied alien children that have been coming across the border. The nonprofit group Friends of Youth notified Edmundo Serena Sanchez and his wife in February that they'd have to move out of the home based on its location on campus in Kirkland, Washington. Friends of Youth has reviewed our organizational goals this past year. We've chosen to pursue a different strategic vision. We're kicking this family out who have been taking in troubled teens and troubled youth and throwing them on the street so we can put in illegal aliens. Probably because they're getting more money from the government. Now, these kids are troubled. And one, when he heard that they were going to be taken out of that home, had a panic attack. Another one ran away. They're kicking this family, this foster family, out of this home to make space for illegal aliens. All right. So one of President Joe Biden's dogs, they assume it's the dog. They assume it's one of the dogs. Pooped on the floor of the White House on Wednesday. The incident occurred outside the palm room doors in front of the diplomatic room. There was dog poo on the floor. It's unclear which dog was responsible for it. CBS White House reporter Catherine Watson tweeted. I ain't picking it up. You pick it up. So these dogs are not trained, or they're about as well trained as Joe Biden is. Maybe you have to swat them with a paper, just like you swat Joe Biden with a paper. This is, and probably doesn't care. Joe Biden probably doesn't care. It's only the White House. No respect. Now, I'm a dog lover. I don't like a dog pooping in the house. Nobody walks the dog. Who is in charge of this dog? The dog bites. One of them does. But that's a problem. Biting, pooping. What next? I'm sorry, the dog ate the Constitution. I don't know. 850-771-0049. I know the Constitution's not in the White House. I know that. But you see my point. Pooped on the floor. All right, the Oprah Winfrey Network. There's a series called Queen Sugar. It attacked the 70 million plus Americans who supported Donald Trump, calling them a racist cult, and that would rather get nothing than allow black Americans to get ahead. Watch this. Check this out.
For tomorrow, they're kids, so I don't want any surprises.
You ain't got to worry about no foolishness.
Okay, so number one, actors with masks on, it's just annoying because you can't understand what they're saying. I digress.
Hey, Vegas.
Oh, I wish I could share your optimism. But in less than 4 years, Trump unleashed something from the shadows that took generations for our ancestors to drive out of the light in the first place.
We'll get rid of that fool come this November. Believe it.
So Trump brought back racism and slavery.
But I don't know. You see these people,
we got to get rid of that fool come this November.
Believe in him. A billionaire who's never worked a real day in his life, who dodged the military service, who don't believe in their churches, who scorns and derides them. They'd rather hang on to that nothingness, that disdain.
A billionaire who's never worked a real day in his life. Let me see Joe Biden's resume.
Facts. No lie.
Facts, he said. She goes on this diatribe of foolishness, and he goes, facts. There you go. That is Oprah Winfrey's own network. Love it? Do you love it? It's great. Great stuff. All right, so this is interesting. Joe Biden's White House on YouTube. So weird. The channel continues to see video dislikes massively. The video platform announced it's testing a new design that obscures a public dislike count. So if you dislike the video, it's going to hide it. The move was announced via Twitter on March 30th, with YouTube explaining, in response to creator feedback and well-being and targeted dislike campaigns, we're testing a new feature design that don't show the public dislike count. The announcement follows national Pulse reports highlighting how the White House's official YouTube channel is seeing its likes get dwarfed by dislikes. We can't have that. We can't have that. We have to have likes. You can't dislike us. And if you do, we need to get rid of that. So YouTube is just like they got rid of Trump. Just like they blanked out Trump, they're getting rid of Joe Biden's dislikes. You can't dislike a video because that's wrong. That's wrong. It's dwarfing it by like 8 times of the likes. So they are getting rid of that because, is this a concerted effort by the media? And I'm now putting YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, not just big tech, their media. Lester Holt. They are actively keeping you from voicing your opinion. So if they don't like what you say, you're blocked or hindered, such as the case may be. You can dislike it, but it won't show. They're going to hide those things. Why? Because that's not helpful to what they want to do. The 1984 and the Ministry of Truth. Yep. Again, it's their truth. Lester Holt told you what they were doing. He told you what they were doing. The sun sets in the west, and that's a fact. So we don't have to entertain all these other things. We know because they don't fit our narrative, it's not fact. And there you go. They don't want you to know the truth. They do not. That is detrimental to what they want to do. It's April Fool's Day, otherwise known as Joe Biden Day. And they're trying to fool you into thinking they've got it all together. This is a train wreck. It's a train wreck. And this guy's not driving the train. They just allow this moron to ring the bell. That's it. That's it. They give him a pudding cup and let him ring the bell. That's all. And they just go, Joe, go pick up the poop off the carpet. That's your job today, Joe. Don't say anything stupid. Pick up the poop off the carpet. There you go. Congratulations. You've had another successful day. The only truth, and that those, the only power is the only truth, and those that with the power make the truth. Yeah. It's absolutely ridiculous. And this group stole the election, and they are undermining the United States. They are the enemies of the United States. The Democratic Party hates the country, and they hate you. That's the truth. That, my friends, is like the sun setting in the west. That is absolute truth. And we're paying the price for truth. All right, that does it for us today. Tomorrow for Good Friday, we will see you then at 6 a.m. God bless you. Be here with us, and we'll have a good time. The band's on the Blackwater is tomorrow. What is today? Thursday. Tomorrow night. Yeah, it's tomorrow night. Look forward to seeing everybody there. That starts 7-ish, I think, and look forward to seeing everybody. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate you for being here today. Like it, share it, and we will see you tomorrow. God bless. Stay